I'm Ryan Apton, and today I'm going to show you some of the adjustments I make on my bindings. Other than adjusting your straps to be centered over your boots, there's three main adjustments I always make. 1, forward lean. 2, taking the heel strap and putting it up to the highest and furthest back insert option. And 3, then once it's on the board, rotating the high back to be as parallel as possible with the heel side edge. So let's go through those and I'll tell why. First is the forward lean. This makes it for when you carve, you don't need to extend your legs out in front of you. It basically can ride with your knees bent. All the half pipe riders use it. Carving it helps tremendously. The only downside is it can be less comfortable. Performance increases, comfort kind of decreases. But for me, without forward lean, the bindings just don't feel good. So on these Burtons, most bindings have them of some sort. With Burtons, you just screw this. So it's a super simple, little easy one that you can play around with on the mountain. I recommend actually trying to go with too much forward lean at some point, and just to know how it feels and how it affects your own turns. Next, I place the heel straps up on the farthest option up. On both sides there is an option on Burton bindings. Some other brands there are, some there aren't. But if there is that option, I like it. It gives a little extra leverage for toe side turns. Alright, so we got these up in the top farthest back hole. This will give a little extra leverage on toe side turns, and if you wanted to tweak your board the hardest possible, maybe the lowest ones, but for the style that I ride with, this kind of provides a little extra leverage and responsiveness. Last, what I adjust is the angle of the high back in relation to the board. So I'm going to put these bindings onto a board. I have like a little I have a board that's kind of a prop. Okay, so now that I got the bindings on with my angles, I use 15, -15 so that I can ride regular, and when I ride switch, it feels just like I ride regular. Yeah, I center it on a twin, and yeah, that's kind of my style. That's just one more personal preference that you can play around with. So yeah, they're on here like this, and as you can probably see, they're not very parallel with the heel side edge. Ideally, so they go like this a bit, they go 15 degrees. Ideally, I want them to be 0 degrees with the heel side edge. So you can rotate those with this adjustment right here. You got to do both sides. One twist over, it takes some kind of bending, and you kind of got to hold it there. But let's adjust that. Alright, now if we take a look at the bindings, they are much more parallel with the heel side edge. So if I'm got my weight up forward, it's just going to give me better leverage on the heel side edge, whether I'm up here riding switch and up here or in the back seat. So yeah, all three of these personal preferences, but if you don't play around with those, you might be missing out on something. So I definitely encourage try all three of those for sure. Forward lean's a super easy one. Putting these, not all bindings have that one, but if they do, try it up high, try it down low. You'll see how it feels for yourself, and then yeah, rotate the high backs to be parallel with the heel side edge. Thanks for watching, and happy shredding.